Hey everyone, welcome to another interview with a top real estate agent with Team Accelerate and Exp Realty. In these interviews, we interview top level real estate agents that are influencers that are building their brand, their business, and their rev share with Exp Realty. Today, I'm so excited. We have Rob Drum out of Birmingham, Alabama. Rob, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to dig in today. We're going to learn a lot about Rob's business, Rob being a part of Exp Realty, and we're going to learn about. He's going to talk. He's my investor guy. So for everyone watching, I want you to stay tuned in this interview. We're going to dig into some tactics as far as working with investors and how you can really build your business in a little bit different avenue. Whereas most traditional agents want to work traditional homeowners buying and selling, but I would say one of Rob's specialties is working with investors and knowing his market. So, Rob, tell us a little bit about where you come from, how long you've been in the industry. We know you're located in Birmingham, but Birmingham's a big area. Tell us a little bit about your business.
So prior to real estate, I worked in the investment industry for, I guess, 8 years total.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually trading stocks full time for not really a fund, but it was kind of like that. So I did that for about 8 years. And then the strategy that we were running kind of slowly, the margins were shrinking. And I told you earlier that I have 4 kids and the oldest is 5. And so my second one was coming in, and they're 12 months and 3 weeks apart. So my second one was coming. My old business was kind of slowing down a lot, and was looking for kind of the next thing to do. I've never really had a W-2 job. So didn't really want to go that route, and looked at got my real estate license in 2017 and started selling, started doing some investing for my own portfolio, rentals and flips and that kind of thing. And so the working with investors has always been something that I enjoy. I kind of connect with those clients. A lot of the agents that are in my EXP group or the ones on my team are kind of the same mindset, business minded, investment minded. And so we kind of all connect on that level.
Cool. So let's unpack a little bit. So the investment in working with a portfolio in the stock markets and trading and everything. So as that kind of slowed down, you worked your way into what spurred you into actually real estate? Like what was the thought? What was the epiphany of going, hey, I need to move from stocks to actual real estate?
Well, I think I knew that it was a good investment vehicle.
Yeah.
Just from, reading books and hearing podcasts and different things. And I had one rental property, one that my wife bought, we lived in for like a year and then moved out, and that became our first rental property. So I had a little bit of experience with it and knew I wanted to do more of that.
Yeah.
And never thought that I would be making a living selling real estate. But here I am, and so found a way to do that.
So you said you came into real estate in 2017, and man, that was a fantastic time to jump in. I jumped in at an even better time in 2014. So I know when 17 hit, it was like, man, we're nearing the bubble. We're nearing the bubble. And it was literally just a absolute sprint. And so you went on a solid run. And it sounds like you're actually probably still on a run. So you were with just a regular brokerage in Birmingham. Was that the case? Just like a traditional real estate residential brokerage?
Yeah, I was at I think I started with Keller Williams for
Mhm.
like 7 months maybe. And
Yeah.
then I had a friend who owned a brokerage, and really it was like him, maybe one or two other agents. And he asked me to come over and kind of run my business there, kind of help
Yep.
with some of the investing stuff. And uh, so it was a very small
Yeah.
operation there. And so the way I came to EXP, I had my license for 2 years and was getting my broker's license and looking at, I wanted to invest in other agents, help them kind of bring them along. I'd already done a little bit of that with one agent at my old brokerage, kind of got her career up and started and
Hmm.
enjoyed it. So I wanted to go down that route. And I thought maybe it's being the broker at my old brokerage, maybe it's starting a brokerage. And right at that same time, I saw Gusty, who ran Brick Realty, which was, I don't know, the number 4 brokerage in Birmingham, independent brokerage he had built from the ground up over a couple years.
Yeah.
And he merged it into EXP, and how he does, like, made a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Everybody heard.
He's a
And I
big
was like,
personality.
yeah. And I was like, from a brokerage standpoint, he was as successful as you could ever hope to be for an independent brokerage. So if I was like looking at doing that, I figured I've got to see why he went to EXP. If if he turned kind of threw that away and went to EXP, what could I hope to do better? And so talked to him, convinced the guy who was running my old brokerage that we should just move it into EXP. He should come with me, and we should do that kind of model as
Yeah,
opposed to
absolutely.
either of us owning a brokerage.
Yeah. So that transition over into EXP and kind of looking at the model, and it sounds like number one, I think you kind of transitioned on me a little bit. I wasn't totally expecting you to tell me all about how much you really were looking to really pour into other agents, which I think is a absolute it's a common attribute about the people that are in our organization. And I think that's why you're on this interview today. And so when you were looking at the actual EXP model, what excited you the most when you looked into it?
I think the efficiency of the technology,
Hmm.
just having everything organized, and all the back end things of what it would take to own a brokerage, hiring a broker, because I knew I didn't want to be the one checking files. That's not my strong
Right.
suit.
No,
Uh,
me neither.
and I saw the opportunity to take away the things that are would be annoying to me about owning a brokerage. Things like all the regulatory stuff, the paperwork, the liability, all
Hmm.
that, and kind of cut that off and have the bringing in agents that you want to work with and do this business with.
Hmm.
Um, bringing them in, bringing them along. And I saw at EXP, you can over time, you can do only the fun part, and you can over time be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a good, interesting thing about what my goal was and how EXP kind of fit that. And I actually just talked to an agent. I think she's coming aboard in another market, that she was in the
Awesome.
exact same point, and I told her kind of my story, and
Yeah.
so I think she kind of saw it the same way.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the exciting thing. Uh, broker burnout's a real thing. I had always thought I wanted to own my own brokerage. That's why I had actually moved brokerages and to another independent company. And then when I really dug into the inner workings and got my taste and my feel of what that actually looks like, without even being the actual qualifying broker for the company, I found that I didn't want that. I felt like, uh, I wanted to be in real estate because I always was chasing that quote that like you never work a day in your life if you're having fun in what you're doing, right? So I'm always about fun. That's kind of how I was raised, and find a way to be really good at what you're doing and make a lot of money at it. And so I'm absolutely right there with you. Is that like EXP that was the intangible part that I did not actually understand in the beginning. I came over because of splits. Uh, Liability is super low, um, and the opportunity to operate without boundaries. The part that I really why I'm staying here is not only like the monetary benefit of the stocks and the rev share and stuff, but honestly, the collaboration with people like you and Gusty, and the fact that that's fun to me. Like that's the fun in real estate. That's why I tell everyone, I came into this business listening to podcasts and learning everything I could through all these high level people. Well, now I'm in the organization and I'm in the company that allows me to pick up the phone or hop on a Zoom or jump into EXP World or Workplace and just talk with anyone and everyone at the highest level. And everyone's like an open book. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we get to experience that. So you are running tell us about your team, your current build of your team.
So my team is Birmingham Investments Group. We specialize in working with investors here in Birmingham. Sounds like the name.
Yeah, you nailed it. Think big.
Yeah.
That should be a tagline.
I think we've got Dream Big somewhere.
Okay.
So we've got two agents on my team. Cool. One really specializes in buyers and helping buyers acquire properties, mostly rental properties. And most of our clients are actually from out of state.
Wow.
I'd say probably 70-80% are out of state investors.
That's
and
unique.
Then and then on the listing side, I've got an agent who started with us about 6 or 7 months ago and has kind of taken over the listing side of, we list a lot of rental portfolios. We'll list some flips for investors. We'll do that kind of some multifamily or commercial.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we have admin. I have an incredible executive assistant who kind of forced me to start a team because she made me so much more efficient that I had to start bringing on agents to handle everything. So, and then a transaction coordinator I could not do this business without. I won't.
There's a lot of things you can do and be a really good agent, but I'll tell you what, nothing pays you in spades like a really good TC.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think what you're doing is actually really unique. And for our listeners today, I want them to make sure that they're getting just as much value as I am in this interview. Can you kind of unpack a little bit, maybe open the book a little bit on how an agent goes about working with out-of-town investors? Like, is there groups that they need to be plugged into? Is there certain actions that they can take in their business today?
Yeah. We do a lot of we do YouTube marketing.
Wow.
I guess marketing. We have a YouTube channel, and I've been doing the Birmingham Market Update, just really keeping my network and anyone who watches up to date on what's happening in the Birmingham market from a statistics standpoint. Through COVID, I did it every week.
I remember that.
Yeah. And
that's how I met you.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, who is this guy? He's talking nothing but statistics.
Yeah. And I think investors, like that. And we post it on Bigger Pockets, which is kind of like Facebook for investors.
Beautiful.
So that brings people in. We've started we call it the Birmingham Investor Social, which is a meetup here in Birmingham. That's been going really well. Obviously, that's more local people. We do have out of state people come to it, but it's more local. And I think that's really kind of building a community that it's going to bring us more business, more personal acquisitions, better,
Yeah.
more vendors. So that's that's a really good thing to do if you want to be involved with investors, the meetup thing.
Cool.
So, I can go on. One thing I kind of alluded to this earlier with EXP is that because, like I said, a lot of our clients are out of state, they aren't coming to closings here in Birmingham. They're doing mailaways. And the way EXP is set up, the attorney will mail the closing statement and the commission check to EXP, or they'll scan it and then they'll mail the original.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an agent, if you're not with EXP, you're driving to that closing attorney's office, you're picking up that check, you're driving to your brokerage, you're collecting a check, and then you're depositing it in your bank account. Whereas for us, we save probably 1,000 hours a year from, there's a lot of closings that there's just no reason for us to go to. And we don't have to pick up a check. So
that's a very interesting thought. No one has actually brought that up on these interviews.
no.
And for our audience today, if you don't know what he's talking about, so EXP Realty is a cloud-based brokerage, and so there's no paper. There's really no paper, and everything is stored in the cloud. When you as an agent, you go to the closing table, a regular agent, and literally almost every company will walk out of there with a closing statement, like a wood infestation report, and a physical check, right? And a lot of times, everyone knows the heartache of working with closing attorneys. They're not all created equal, right? And some of them have very antiquated systems. Some of them have very advanced systems. Some of them have really good closing coordinators. Some of them have very poor closing coordinators. With EXP Realty, we've kind of taken the stress out of that part of the process as well. So whenever I go to closing, it's always kind of a joke. I show up to closing with a smile and a gift. Here you go, right? So I bring those, and then the EXP Realty, the transaction department, has already communicated with the closing coordinator or the attorney and given them specific instructions as to what to do with all that documentation and the check right after closing. That's why EXP agents, I've been paid as fast as 17 minutes after a closing, which is insane. So, Rob, that's a very, very interesting take. I have not heard that yet.
You can't do that anywhere else. No one else is set up to do that.
No.
Yeah.
And I think the savings part of it, the time saving you just talked about, no one's actually really calculated it.
Not to mention gas,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is, yeah. I mean, gas is like gold right now. That's so, yeah, for everyone listening, yeah, EXP Realty has the streamlined way of getting through closing and doing it everywhere. So why is that? So other than the closing, how has being an investor focused real estate team worked well with EXP Realty? Is there any, like, as far as the networking or referrals or anything like that, has EXP Realty offered or really brought some value on that end?
Yeah, I think, being a part of our group, the Accelerate team, we do, we kind of get sent potential deals. There's someone in our group that's actually, he sent me one that I bought, and then he sent me another one that we're partnering on for my own investments.
JV deal.
Yeah. So just kind of the network of other agents around Birmingham. They'll send us, listings that they have a question on, or if they get a investment portfolio that they're not really sure what to do with, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, so I will definitely be calling you about working with out of state investors after this interview.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I'm a Bigger Pockets junkie as well. And I've listened to their podcast. Brandon and all those guys are just, I mean, they have opened up the playbook on their website for investing and building the largest online investor network. It's insane. I think tying into them is great. That was actually one of the early podcasts that I found when I first got into real estate that I was like, man, one day I'm going to invest in property. And today, luckily, I have a decent little portfolio. And uh, me and my wife especially my wife has been actually obsessed. She's obsessed with Bigger Pockets. So I
Oh,
thought,
awesome.
yeah, I think it's super cool because she runs more of the property management side, and I run the real estate team. So it's been a ton of fun getting to do that with her.
Oh, yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, as we kind of get to the end of this interview, is there any parting advice or anything that you would give to an agent out there that's watching today that's trying to figure out how to build their business with investors?
Yeah. I think definitely getting involved in investing yourself is a huge thing. That's one of the kind of core tenets for our team, is that we're not just selling investment real estate in Birmingham. We also are investors. We kind of,
Yeah.
the people that we recommend you use are people we use ourselves. The
Hmm.
properties that we recommend you buy are something that, we would want to own. And I think that resonates with investors because it's a different type of purchase than a home purchase would be sometimes. So
Hmm.
I think if you can do that, that's a good way to do it. A good way to kind of market yourself, and then really just getting out there networking. If you're willing to work, you can find investors who want to work with you. I will say part of what we do is finding the ones that we want to work with, that fit. They want to buy the type of properties that we like. They, you know, are going to be a good fit to work with us. So that's something that, starting out, you probably just want to get some experience, but
Hmm.
as you go, you want to kind of screen your clients a
Yeah,
little bit.
that's right. Yeah, for agents on our team, if they're ever wanting to, when we do some goal setting and stuff, we do talk about like, they're like, oh, I want to own investment property. I'm like, well, are you analyzing deals? Are you looking at deals? Are you breaking them down? Are you running your own cap rates? Are you looking into all this? Have you talked to property managers, or do you know what those fees entail, and kind of really do the legwork up front? Because in this market, it's either you pull the trigger or you miss. Period. So you got to be able to move quickly. And I tell people all the time. I mean, like you're saying, dig into Bigger Pockets as another community. They're obviously going to probably reach out to you, Rob, to
Yeah,
get
always
to
happy
get
to
to know
help.
more. So for everyone watching today, and still watching this video, if you want to know more about investing in real estate from an agent perspective or for yourself, Rob is. I'll have Rob's contact information in the description below. If you guys would like to talk more about Exp Realty and how you can move your business over into Exp Realty, and you love to partner with Rob Drum, who I think is a great mind in the Alabama real estate market, reach out to Rob, or you can reach out to me as well. I'd love to get connected with you. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys think of the video today. And Rob, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing about your business and giving our audience some really good nuggets to implement today in their business.
Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed our conversation. Look forward to doing it again.
All right. We'll see you.
All right.